So again, looking at the screen as you're just coming in, can you map the original to A and to B and to C? What are the transformations taking place in order to make that happen? We're going to have a transformation activity we'll be doing in groups today. We're waiting for a few of us to join in. Again, taking a look at the screen, can you tell me how the transformation, what were the transformations do in order to make A happen, make B happen, and make C happen? What are those transformations that make that happen? Jotting it down in your notes as you're jotting down some ideas. With another few seconds to get people into the room as you're thinking through how would you map it. Think about H and K, which is going to be a part of what we're going to be working on today. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move along. We have, so transformations is the idea that we're going to talk about today, transforming functions. It should feel like review from your Algebra 2 courses that you took last year. So we're going to kind of work in groups, kind of dust off the cobwebs and see how those transformations happen. First, they build up our confidence with simple addition and subtraction, then they slam you with algebra and calculus. Quite a clever scheme. So here we go. Keep in mind that as you are in the main room that we're on mute, you can choose to have your camera on or off. I know that it helps with bandwidth to have it off, but be ready to turn it on when we go into our breakout rooms. Your video should be on and your should be on mute when you're in your smaller groups. Be respectful, and we're going to have the person with the longest hair is going to be working with the group. So before we go into those breakout rooms, let's talk about just a little bit about the parent function. So I'm going to give you a few minutes as you are thinking about these functions. So you can use a graphing calculator. You could also use Desmos. Or maybe you know these off the top of your head. What do these 6 basic parent functions, what do they look like? So can you sketch a graph? So jotting down in your notes, can you sketch a graph of those 6 functions? And then also, could you write down the domain and range and the intervals for increasing, decreasing, and whether it's even or odd? So I'm going to give you a little bit of think time. So jotting down in your notes these 6 functions and sketching a picture of what they look like, and then you remember how to find domain and range. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking as you're writing these down. These are the parent functions that you're looking at, and I'll give you a few seconds to think through that. Another 30 seconds or so. What do you recall about those 6 parent functions, those basic functions? Can you sketch a picture of it? What does it look like? Okay, on this next slide, there is what the answers to each of those 6 functions are. If you want to take a screenshot of it, you can. It will also be posted online when you are, when I post a copy of the recording. I will also have any handouts or any things like this will be on there. But just a couple of little quick reminders. So the constant function is basically a y equals some value, so it's a horizontal line. It also could go in the same category as identity, which is also a line. They are just 2 different lines. So you have the constant function, the identity function, which is that diagonal line that is through the origin. The domain for any line is all real numbers, because any x value works. And then for this horizontal line, the range is going to end up being just whatever that value is across where it is. So in this case, it looks like around 2.5. Whereas the range for the identity line is all real numbers because it's diagonal. It's all y values and all x values. The square root function you should have looked at last year in Algebra 2. This is what that looks like. So kind of recognizing what that is and then thinking about what the domain and range are. So again, it starts at the origin. So it's the x values from 0 on to infinity. And it is the y values from 0 up to infinity. So it does have some restrictions. As a reminder, we have those square brackets because we're including the value 0, 0. So a couple of quick reminders that you'll have some videos to look at and some instructions around domain and range, and you will have an opportunity to share a video again around domain. I'm still looking at your factoring videos. It's very fun to kind of watch you do math. I know that for some of you it might be a little bit stressful, but it is a great opportunity for me to be able to connect and see how we're doing and what I can do to help. The cubing function, I'm sorry, I skipped over the quadratic. The quadratic function you should have done a ton with last year in Algebra 2. You should have also seen in Algebra 1, looking at that function. That's a really good one to be thinking about this idea of increasing and decreasing. So as you read this from left to right, what is happening? So as we go from the left side and we're going, this side is decreasing, and then at the origin we switch and we are increasing. So it's talking about where is the graph on a decreasing trend and when is it on an increasing trend, and we always go left to right just as we would read a book. So that is what this increasing and decreasing idea is. There's also some ideas about even and odd. So this is even because it is symmetrical around the y-axis. So a couple of things. Again, you will have videos and some wonderful resources to look at as you are kind of working with these ideas this week, but I just wanted to kind of give you some basic ideas around the cubing function and the absolute value function. So those are our 6 basic functions as we are going to be shifting them around today. So what you're going to have an opportunity to do is you're going to be working on Desmos. And hopefully most of you are familiar with Desmos and know that in Algebra 2 you have the opportunity to do the, you probably did the capstone assessment, and in the capstone assessments you have the Desmos calculator. So you'll have a chance to look at those Desmos calculators. We're going to do a little bit of fixing on here. So they have projector mode is really helpful to be able to see what's happening in terms of the graph. Some students asked whether they needed to log into Desmos. You can choose to log in if you want, or you can just get a function and you're going to be kind of drawing pictures of them and coming to conclusions. So it's really just a place for us to see what's happening to those functions. We can change the settings for the graph under the little cog. So if you needed to change any of those things, you're going to be using a thing called sliders. You're going to have some instructions that are going to be given on a Google document. You're going to be sharing that Google document with a couple of your classmates. So you're going to be in a breakout room. In that breakout room,
I had a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Um, for number 7, I didn't understand it.
Okay. On number 7, um, so what you have to do is you're using your own, um, so you are you're using your own picture and then you're creating a graph that goes along with it. So an example would be this one. Okay. So on this graph, this picture, so this is with the phoenix from elevation. So the part of this particular picture, so this became an absolute value function that just covers a part of that picture. Whereas this is a quadratic that is just doing like the beak portion of it. So you're taking a picture, uploading it, and then taking a part of it and seeing if you can transform it enough to get it to fit over a part of the picture. Does that make sense?
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
Playing around
Thank
with
you.
the definitions a little bit. Um, so just to make sure that we're kind of all on the same page, welcome back to our full group. So you hopefully got through, I'm hoping that you definitely got through at least number 4 so that you could see what each of those transformations, I'm sorry, it's all the way through number 5. And then number 6, that was great if you got to it, and hopefully as a group you could look at that. It's helpful if you guys want to meet together to continue it, but I'm looking for it. I'm hoping you got through 1 through 5 because those are the transformations of the function. Hopefully it's a good reminder. It should feel like you've seen them before, but we needed to remind ourselves what H and K do to a function and what like a negative sign in front does. So you're playing around with them, Desmos to come up with that. So feel free to kind of touch base with your group members. And then for the weekly check-in, your job is to upload this. Under the weekly check-in, it'll say share your Google Docs. So you'll put it through as that assignment. So you'll share that with me. Whatever notes would be helpful for you to write on here as a group. Like if you want to do screenshots or pictures on here, that's totally fine. I'm looking for you to answer these questions and be able to describe what's happening to the graph, which is going to help prepare you for your assessment that is coming up in like about a week. So we have one more week of inspection from this particular unit, and then we have our test. So I would love to see you during my office hours, and please keep reaching out. I'm working on grading as much as I possibly can. Your grade that I uploaded into PowerSchool is your current grade. And then each week we just put your current grade. But if you want information about what your grade looks like, looking in Canvas is really going to give you all the details that you need. Please reach out if you have any questions. So again, your job is to upload your document that you shared among your group members. That goes in the weekly check-in. And then let me know if you have any questions. And I'll see you next week.